The battle ended. It was an unprecedentedly fierce battle which had shaken the earth and heavens. The moment it concluded, the stories about it began spreading throughout the eternal world at an amazing rate. In only a few days, the entire eternal world heard about this shocking piece of news. Everyone was astonished. No one had ever thought that the mysterious national master of Tang of the East had been secretly scheming against the country. No one had expected the famous Emperor Leng and the Xia clan to be the national master's accomplices. Days after the battle, warriors in Tang of the East were still in shock. After all, they had nearly been annihilated by those people, and the entire Tang of the East had nearly been turned into an abandoned land. Both of the two belligerent parties had suffered heavy losses in this battle. Nearly two-thirds of the Dao masters engaged in this battle were killed, and the situation was even worse for those serving under Emperor Leng. Among her 24 bodyguards, only 6 of them survived. Emperor Leng herself was also suppressed by Emperor Xiao. As for the Xia clan, it suffered a devastating blow. As the #1 overlord clan in Tang of the East, the Xia clan had displayed a formidable strength in the battle. It just had never expected that its most elite troop, the Immortal army, would have been annihilated by Jian Wushuang. Many high-level experts of the clan were killed during the battle, including Ancestor Xia Yong and Master Xia Tao. It could be argued that nearly all the high-level experts of the Xia clan were killed in this battle. Without them, the clan could no longer maintain its position as the #1 overlord clan in Tang of the East. To make matters worse, they had to suffer oppression at the hands of Emperor Xiao, as now he regained control of this country. The former #1 overlord clan of Tang of the East could hardly restore the power and influence in the future. In this sense, Emperor Leng and the Xia clan were totally defeated. They were destroyed and had absolutely no strength left for counterattack or even struggle. When trillions of living creatures in Tang of the East knew what Dao Yuanzi, Emperor Leng and the Xia clan had done, they were filled with raging indignation. They would never forgive Emperor Leng or let her control their country even if she started all over again someday. When the entire eternal world was impressed and moved by this fierce battle, all the cultivators in this world remembered a name, Jian Wushuang. He was such a super genius and had created so many miracles on the battlefield. He was the cause of this battle. He was also the hero of this battle. He had completely turned the tables on his enemies during this battle by annihilating the Xia clan's Immortal army. He had defeated Ancestor Xia Yong of the Xia clan with just 3 fingers. When Dao Yuanzi's evil plan had been exposed and everyone on his side had felt helpless, he had saved everyone and suppressed Dao Yuanzi with amazing powers. He was no doubt a hero with astounding capabilities. In the meantime, all the cultivators found it hard to believe that this dazzling hero and creator of miracles on the battlefield was just an expert with eternal realm. Therefore, they could only describe him as a genius, an exceptional genius, or even a monster. To their great disappointment, this genius died during the unprecedentedly fierce battle. Everyone present at the scene had witnessed his death. He turned himself into a dense blood fog, from which no one could manage to come back to life. No matter how much the warriors admired his abilities and strengths, they could only sigh wistfully every time they thought of him. Gradually, 10 years passed. During those years, Jian Wushuang gradually became just a name in a legend, which would be mentioned occasionally by the people in the world. No matter how amazing he had been, he could hardly avoid the fate of being gradually forgotten by them. No one expected Jian Wushuang, this legendary figure in the history of Tang of the East and the eternal world, to be able to come back to life 10 years after he had turned himself into a blood fog. At this moment, a red worm beast with countless tentacles was crouching inside a cave mansion several thousand kilometers below the ground. A dark golden light spot was floating inside the void in front of its head. "Gu King, where are we?" Jian Wushuang's voice came from the light spot. He had just regained his consciousness. "That's not important. You just need to know that you're safe here. You can restore your body as soon as possible at this place," replied Gu King. "Restore my body?" Jian Wushuang said dryly. He had spent 10 years reviving his consciousness contained in the drop of ancient god essence blood, which was dark golden in color, and now he had to restore his body step by step based on this drop of blood, which was the only remaining part of his body. It took me so many years to restore my consciousness. Compared to this process, body restoration is much more complicated. I don't know how long it will take to complete this job, added Jian Wushuang. Well, it was you who did this to yourself, wasn't it? Gu King teased. If you had followed my advice and left with your little girlfriend, none of this would have happened. Your body would be all right, so would the 70% of essence blood of King Luoxian. Jian Wushuang was struck speechless, but deep inside his heart, he did not feel regret for his choice at all. Fortunately, you always stick to an inverse cultivation method, and when your body turned into a blood fog, you happened to be at the level where you were equipped with Everlasting Realm. This realm enabled you to come back to life. Without it, you were dead long ago, added Gu King somewhat grumpily. Jian Wushuang chuckled bitterly while feeling that he had to agree with Gu King. Forcing himself to absorb all the remaining essence blood of King Luoxian could be considered as a suicide behavior. Nevertheless, with the help of Everlasting Realm, he did not need to worry about his own life. As long as he still remained at this level of cultivation, he would never succeed in killing himself no matter how hard he tried. As long as there was a drop of his blood left in this world, he could survive. Not to mention that Gu King had quickly spotted and protected the drop of blood when his body had exploded into a blood fog. Oh yeah, what happened after that battle? Asked Jian Wushuang. What else could happen? You killed Dao Yuanzi and demolished his life-devouring formation. As such, you guys won the battle, but you suffered heavy losses as well, said Gu King. My side suffered heavy losses. This battle must have greatly sapped the strength of Tang of the East. Jian Wushuang could not help but sigh in his heart. Although this result met his expectations. I'll restore my body and regain my powers as quickly as I can. I have to return to Tang of the East as early as possible, said Jian Wushuang. Are you saying that you want to quickly restore your body? You'd better give up that idea, said Gu King. Look at yourself, you can't restore your body within a short period of time. That said, I have to admit that you're lucky. After you killed that Dao Yuanzi, I managed to get his interspatial ring. This guy from the blood-killing sect stored many treasures in the ring, and some of them can help you restore your body and strength. However, even with the help of these treasures, it'll still take you at least 1,000 years to restore your body. 1,000 years? Jian Wushuang exclaimed in astonishment while groaning inwardly. Are you kidding? It has been at most 500 years since I was born. Now I need to spend 1,000 years restoring my body and strength. And this is the best result that can be achieved using the treasures left by Dao Yuanzi. It's only 1,000 years. It's really quick. It'll pass in a blink of an eye, said Gu King. Jian Wushuang felt helpless. After a moment, he asked, Gu King, do you know where did that Dao Yuanzi come from? And what was the blood-killing sect? Those guys didn't belong to this place, right? He was curious about them. You're right. Dao Yuanzi did come from another place. Gu King nodded slightly. Jian Wushuang, as you know, there are always skies beyond our skies and people better and stronger than us. Our realm is big enough for us, but that doesn't mean that it's the only realm in the world. I know this, Jian Wushuang admitted. He had come to understand this fact back in the Star Island when he had first known the existence of Star Bloodline. Back then, he had noticed that the founder of the Star Bloodline seemed to possess powers that did not belong to this realm. Apart from the founder of the Star Bloodline, King Luoxian, an 8-star imperial god, also seemed to have such powers. The world we're in is vast and far beyond your imagination, and it's known by the name Eternal Chaotic World. Gu King explained. Eternal Chaotic World consists of many realms, which were also known as Eternal Worlds. Thus our Eternal World is only part of the Eternal Chaotic World. Every Eternal World has its own name. As far as I know, your Eternal World is known by the name Green Fire World. Green Fire World? Jian Wushuang wondered in amazement. He had never heard of this name before. In the past, warriors in the Green Fire World usually referred to this world as the Eternal World. Nevertheless, the Green Fire World is actually just one of the many Eternal Worlds. Does this principle also apply to the ancient world? After all, the ancient world also consists of many equal realms, thought Jian Wushuang. There are countless experts in this vast, eternal, chaotic world, and some of them possess powers that are way beyond our imagination. For example, a Tao master could be considered as the top dog in his or her eternal world, but compared to the top-notch experts of the eternal chaotic world, a Tao master is nothing. All the first-rate experts of the eternal chaotic world possess mighty powers, such as the founder of the star bloodline and my former master, King Luotian. The former could create a vast stellar fog sea with just a movement of his hand, and the latter was a 8-star imperial god. As for the 7-star imperial god King Gu Tong that you saw in the previous battle, he can never compete with King Luotian in power, Gu King added. Both Gu Tong and King Luotian are imperial gods, and the former is just one level below the latter. Why is there such a huge difference between them? Jian Wushuang asked. One level makes a lot of difference, Gu King said sneeringly. You're still too weak to understand that now. When your levels get significantly improved, you'll be able to explore the other realms. At that time, you'll understand. There is only 1 star's difference between the 7-star imperial god and the 8-star imperial god, but that 1 star makes a huge difference. Upon hearing that, Jian Wushuang could not help but feel astonished. Compared to the first-rate experts of the eternal chaotic world, Dao Yuanzi was just a nobody. However, the blood-killing sect he belonged to is widely known. It's the evilest sect in the world. Even the founder of the star bloodline and King Luotian could not afford to mess with them, said Gu King. Wow, I see. Jian Wushuang nodded. You're still weak and don't need this kind of knowledge at this moment. I will tell you all the things that you should know when you become a Tao master and are able to freely explore the eternal chaotic world. At present, the most important thing is to restore your body and become a Tao master, said Gu King. Yes, you're right. Jian Wushuang agreed. Take your time, restore your body first, said Gu King. You forced yourself to absorb the essence blood left by King Luotian and wasted 90% of its power. But you managed to refine a small volume of it and integrate it into your body. When you recover, your strength should be improved. Oh! Jian Wushuang was surprised. During the previous battle, he had compelled himself to absorb the essence blood and wasted a good part of it. However, a small volume of it was still left in the drop of blood that he had left in this world. This essence blood would probably do him some good in the future. In addition, among the many treasures left by Dao Yuanzi, some of them are pretty useful to you. You can try them out after you've recovered, said Gu King. Treasures left by Dao Yuanzi? Jian Wushuang felt thrilled. As an expert of the eternal chaotic world and a disciple of the blood-killing sect, Dao Yuanzi must have many priceless treasures. His blood-killing plate armor is really amazing. During the previous battle, when King Gu Tong first arrived at the battlefield, he could severely injure Dao Yuanzi with just a punch. His battle strength is clearly much stronger than that of Dao Yuanzi. However, the next moment when Dao Yuanzi put on his blood-killing plate armor, his strength increased so much that he managed to resist King Gu Tong in the end. Obviously, it was his blood-killing plate armor that had drastically improved his powers, thought Jian Wushuang. Look at you. What a naive boy. The treasures left by Dao Yuanzi are good, and some of them are useful to you. However, all his treasures combined cannot compete with your mountain river map, said Gu King. Mountain river map? Jian Wushuang was stunned and then thought of this treasure. It was this mountain river map that had enabled him to destroy his enemies during the previous battle. Back on that battlefield, he had managed to activate the map and use a 9-province seal skill to crush Dao Yuanzi and his life-devouring formation during the last minutes of the battle. Jian Wushuang knew that swallowing the essence blood and gaining the battle strength of an imperial god were not the only reasons he destroyed the life-threatening formation and killed Dao Yuanzi. He had assistance from the mountain river map as well. At that time, Dao Yuanzi had looked furious, and it was also because of the mountain river map. According to Dao Yuanzi, the mountain river map was a chaos divine treasure. What is a chaos divine treasure? Jian Wushuang had no idea what that was. It's a rare kind of treasure that exists in the eternal chaotic world. Although a chaos divine treasure is not very much of a use for experts such as Star Bloodline's founder and King Luotian, It can be enormously helpful for experts who are weaker. Someone like King Gutong, who is in his peak days, would covet a chaos divine treasure, King Gu said seriously. Is it that precious? Jian Wushuang looked surprised. It is. King Gu continued. Furthermore, the map has been refined with a special technique which hides its scent. That's why I failed to recognize it as a chaos divine treasure until you used it in that battle. Jian Wushuang, did your master give this map to you? Yes, he did. Jian Wushuang nodded slightly. I am getting increasingly curious about your master. He granted you a secret skill to raise the intensity of your awareness, 13,800 Emperor weapon as your wedding gifts, and even a chaos divine treasure. Gu sighed in awe, putting aside the secret technique to strengthen one's awareness. As for the 13,800 Emperor weapon, it meant little to King Gu as well. After all, in the eternal chaotic world, an Emperor weapon was too ordinary. But a chaos divine treasure was a different story. Only a few experts possess chaos divine treasures in the eternal chaotic world, and the ones that are able to cultivate them are even fewer, King Gu added. Your master gave you a chaos divine treasure. This shows that he must have an outstanding background. Maybe he is not as powerful as Star Bloodline's founder and King Luozhan, but he must be famous in the eternal chaotic world. Jian Wushuang agreed. His master, Palace Master Xianxia, had always been mysterious. His origin, background, strength, and everything else about him remained a secret to everyone. Before Jian Wushuang, he had accepted 3 disciples. They did not practice hard, yet all of them became Dao masters. Xueling Tian had even almost reached the peak of rank 3. Later, Palace Master Xianxia accepted him. In the beginning, Xianxia was an attentive master to Jian Wushuang. Later, Jian Wushuang was allowed to wander in the outside world without Xianxia's interferences. Only when Jian Wushuang was in trouble would Xianxia came to his disciples' rescue. On the selection ceremony, he had prepared 13,800 Emperor weapons, which was unbelievable to the Green Fire world. When Xianxia had first learned about the ceremony, he started to prepare the gifts. When the gifts finally arrived, 3 years had passed. He prepared 13,800 Emperor weapons in 3 years. And King Gutong turned out to be Ancient Sect's sect master. Back in the Firmament territory, Ancient Sect's sect master had always been recognized as the greatest expert. However, during Jian Wushuang's stay in the Firmament territory, he had never met the sect master, let alone witnessed the master's swordsmanship. He never imagined that the Ancient Sect's sect master turned out to be a 7-star imperial god. The ancient god clan from the eternal zone of Firmament territory was most likely to be linked as well. In addition, King Gutong seemed to have helped Jian Wushuang on Xianxia's order. Xianxia could dispatch even a 7-star imperial god, and he actually had a chaos divine treasure like the Mountain River map. Everything showed that Xianxia possessed great capabilities. I haven't talked to my master in a long time. I should send a message to pay my respects. Jian Wushuang decided and immediately took out a message token from his interspatial ring. Although he was injured, he could still send messages through message tokens. Master, I am still alive. Jian Wushuang sent a very brief message. Moments after he sent his message, he received a response from Xianxia. I know. Xianxia's voice was indifferent and did not sound surprised at all. When I accepted you as my disciple, I planted a sword spark in you. The sword spark is connected to you. The sword spark, although weak, did not disappear. And I know that you are still alive. I am very weak now, and it will take a long time for me to recover. Jian Wushuang replied. Don't worry, take your time, Xianxia said while smiling. Thank you for your help in the Battle of the Tang of the East. Jian Wushuang said, grateful to his master. It was Gutong who helped you in the Battle of the Imperial Palace. It had nothing to do with me. You should go thank him instead. Xianxia laughed. Although Xianxia put it this way, Jian Wushuang was highly aware that Gutong only helped because Xianxia had ordered him to. Master, when I was using the Mountain River map to kill Dao Yuanzi in the battle, he said that the map is a chaos divine treasure. Jian Wushuang appeared doubtful. Oh? Dao Yuanzi had a discerning eye. He indeed came from the blood-killing sect. Xianxia gave a faint smile. It is indeed a chaos divine treasure. Unfortunately, it is a damaged one. His power has been diminished. Damaged? Jian Wushuang looked surprised. Nevertheless, it can be of great help to you. You should take it, Xianxia said. Understood. Jian Wushuang nodded, and then continued, Master, the universal Tao scripture that you gave me was a secret technique to improve my awareness. Is that right? Oh, you found out. Xianxia admitted with a smile. So I was right. Jian Wushuang fell silent. He had only speculated that the universal Tao scripture might have something to do with his heightened awareness. He had just confirmed this speculation. Awareness is important for a warrior. You are still physically weak, and you don't feel the importance of awareness yet. In the future, when you get stronger, you will experience the benefits of strong awareness. Xianxia smiled. Jian Wushuang nodded, but immediately asked in a grave manner. I have one more question. Master, are you really just an Eternal Realm level expert? Does Xianxia really only belong to the Eternal Realm level? Jian Wushuang had carried this question in his mind for a long time and had yet to find an answer for it. It was only until today that he found the courage to ask Xianxia for an answer. Haha, Xianxia laughed. I'm definitely only at the Eternal Realm level. Any Tao master may just kill me. Your current strength is much stronger than mine. Jian Wushuang was full of doubts. Really? Merely of the Eternal Realm level? That's all for now. There are some things that you don't know now, but soon you will. Your current priority is to quickly restore your strength because Tang of the East is in big trouble. They are still waiting for you. Xianxia laughed heartily before falling completely silent. Hearing his master's words, Jian Wushuang felt utterly helpless, but he relaxed soon after. Master, no matter who you are, what your origin and background are, and no matter how strong you are my master and will always be my master. Once a teacher, always a father. Jian Wushuang murmured in his heart. Jian Wushuang was full of gratitude towards his master, a person who seemed to have no desire for anything. His master had helped him a lot and saved him numerous times. He decided that from that day onwards, no matter what his master's orders were, he would fulfill them to his best ability, as long as they did not violate his principles. After finishing their talk, Jian Wushuang immediately recalled Xianxia's words. Tang of the East is in big trouble? Deep in thought, Jian Wushuang fetched a message token from the interspatial ring. This token belonged to Wang Yuan. Big brother Wang Yuan. Jian Wushuang sent his message over. In the newly rebuilt imperial palace of Tang of the East, Wang Yuan sat in a secret chamber, concentrating on cultivating an elixir. Upon receiving Jian Wushuang's message, he widened his eyes. He lost control of his fire and a huge bang was heard from inside the alchemy stove. The elixir he had been refining turned into ashes instantly. But Wang Yuan did not care for this. He immediately retrieved Jian Wushuang's message token. Third brother. Wang Yuan sounded elated. It's really you? Did you not die? It's me. Jian Wushuang replied. But I saw with my own eyes how you got blood everywhere. Wang Yuan was in doubt. That does not mean I had died. Jian Wushuang smiled wryly. Haha, yes. Wang Yuan smiled in an almost crazy manner. Great, you really are alive. I have to inform second brother immediately, and Emperor Xiao as well. Don't. Jian Wushuang stopped him. What's the matter? Wang Yuan stopped in his tracks. Big brother Wang Yuan, I have a question to ask you. What is the situation in Tang of the East now? Jian Wushuang asked. The situation is not very optimistic. Wang Yuan said gloomily. 10 years ago, Emperor Xiao defeated and suppressed Emperor Lung. But Tang of the East lost its vigor and luck in the battle. In that battle, the Xia clan almost lost their battle strength completely too. They owned many treasures which many top clans yearned to possess. But the new Xia clan master was very capable. He managed to build an immortal army in a short period of time and fought against other clans. In the past decade, Tang of the East has been in a state of chaos. What about Emperor Xiao and Emperor Yun? Jian Wushuang asked again. With their presence in Tang of the East, no clans would dare to be presumptuous, right? Third brother, things have changed. A long time ago, Emperor Xiao left Tang of the East. His status was gradually lost within the country. Even if he returns to Tang of the East now, he is no longer able to give commands because hardly anyone listens to him anymore. 10 years ago, in the Battle of the Imperial Palace, he and Emperor Yun were both injured by Dao Yuanzi. Now, the both of them remained only 30% of their original strength. They can no longer get others to surrender by martial force. In addition, although Emperor Lung was suppressed, she had after all governed Tang of the East for many years. Recently, her numerous experts have been stirring up troubles in the country. Emperor Xiao had to suppress her experts with all his strength. He doesn't have any more energy to deal with the rioting clans. He can only wait until his strength is completely restored. Wang Yuan said. Is that so? Jian Wushuang thought to himself. He did not expect that, in such a short time, Tang of the East would end up in such a plight. Even Emperor Xiao and Emperor Yun could not summon full control over the situation. Tang of the East may be in a state of chaos, but since you're still alive, you can help them. Wang Yuan suddenly said. Oh! Jian Wushuang appeared doubtful. Third brother, you saved Tang of the East single-handedly 10 years ago. You were not far from a god in the eyes of the people there. Even today, people are still talking about you and your brave deeds. Countless young warriors in Tang of the East regard you as an example to be followed. Besides, your strength is formidable, even though you had actually made use of a special method to be even more powerful 10 years back. But you achieved such power despite being so young and belonging only to the eternal realm level. When you become a Tao master, what would it mean? Probably means that no one in the entire eternal world can beat you. You have high status and huge capabilities. You don't have to do anything more. As long as you show up with Emperor Xiao in Tang of the East, and declare that you have survived and still support Emperor Xiao, which clans would still dare to be disrespectful? Who would dare to not listen to his order? Wang Yuan said. Hearing Wang Yuan's words, Jian Wushuang was completely dumbfounded. Am I that influential in Tang of the East? Jian Wushuang found it hard to believe. Come on. King Gu suddenly voiced out. Jian Wushuang, are you still not aware of what you have done? You killed a blood-killing sect expert. Even experts at the top of the Green Fire world dare not look down on you, not to mention the people in Tang of the East. More importantly, you are currently at the Eternal Realm level. In the eyes of the people in the Green Fire world, you have immense potential. Your potential is the greatest in Green Fire world. As long as you have the opportunity and luck, you'll become a Tao master and perhaps even beyond that. With such a huge potential, who in Green Fire world would dare to mess with you? Gu King's voice rang out. Jian Wushuang fell silent. After a while, he sent a message saying, Big brother Wang Yuan, don't tell other people that I'm still alive. If it is really necessary, you can tell second brother and Emperor Xiao. Why? Wang Yuan wondered. If the news that Jian Wushuang was still alive got out, the entire eternal world would be in shock. Clans and mansion masters of the 36 prefectures in Tang of the East would pull back their plans because of Jian Wushuang. This meant peace for a short period of time. However, if Jian Wushuang's survival remained as a secret, Tang of the East would continue to be trapped in the current mayhem. Tang of the East has been greatly devastated, and the situation is dire. However, such a dangerous state will reveal the hidden threats. Jian Wushuang said in a severe tone. Emperor Lung has governed Tang of the East for many years. Who knows what Tang of the East has become? If Emperor Xiao wants to take over Tang of the East fully, he must remove the threats. Hence, just let the clans be. The more troubles they cause, the more threats will be revealed. When the time is right, we will remove all of them at once. Besides, although I survived the battle 10 years ago, I'm in poor condition now. Within a short period of time, I can't show up in public. Even if you spread the news, no one will believe it. They will only think that Emperor Xiao has come to his wit's end. It will cause more trouble. Is that so? I understand. Wang Yuan nodded heavily, agreeing with Jian Wushuang. By the way, how's Leng Rushuang doing? Jian Wushuang was worried about her. He had asked about Tang of the East's situation because Emperor Xiao had saved him, but most importantly because he cared about Leng Rushuang. When he married her, he would be the emperor's son-in-law. Naturally, he was obliged to help Tang of the East. However, Leng Rushuang was a primordial great sinner. In the battle 10 years ago, Leng Rushuang went into a coma after being seriously injured. Although Gu King had managed to save her life, Jian Wushuang did not hear from her over the following decade. Her Highness? Speaking of Leng Rushuang, Wang Yuan fell silent. What happened to her? Jian Wushuang asked, sounding a little anxious. Don't worry. She is well and has healed a lot from her injuries. But ever since after that war, she has been in a coma, and has not woken up since then. Wang Yuan said. Still in a coma? Jian Wushuang's heart sank. Even after becoming into blood fog, he had spent only 10 years to regain consciousness. Why was Leng Rushuang still in a coma? Gu King, what's going on? Jian Wushuang immediately asked Gu King. Gu King was knowledgeable and knew more than Jian Wushuang about primordial great sinners. I don't know much about this too. Gu King shook his head. Primordial great sinners are as rare as inverse cultivators in eternal chaotic world. I used to follow King Luozhen in the eternal chaotic world and met one primordial great sinner. So I got to have some understanding about them. However, your girl seems to be different from other primordial great sinners. Different? Jian Wushuang was surprised. Don't worry. You must first heal your body and recover your strength. When you go to Tang of the East to visit her, let me take a closer look, and then maybe I can answer you, said Gu King. Understood. Jian Wushuang nodded. Big brother Wang Yuan, watch over Tang of the East for me. If there is anything wrong, send me a message at once. Jian Wushuang said. Yes, I will. Wang Yuan promised. After their exchange, Jian Wushuang felt calmer. In my current state, I can't save Tang of the East from trouble or do anything for Leng Rushuang who is in a coma. I must concentrate on recovering. Jian Wushuang knew very well what he should do. In the cave mansion deep underground, Jian Wushuang began to self-heal. Even with the help of the treasures left behind by Dao Yuanzi, Jian Wushuang still needed 1,000 years to recover. Jian Wushuang could only be patient and focused on restoring his health. Time passed slowly while he was healing himself. In the 18th year after Jian Wushuang regained consciousness, Wang Yuan sent a message. Bad news. Bad news. Third brother, clans in Tang of the East joined forces and destroyed the Xia clan's immortal army. After Xia clan fell, other forces in Tang of the East and some of the mansion masters from the 36 prefectures fought madly for their own interests. The situation in the entire Tang of the East has spiraled out of control. It was the 20th year after Jian Wushuang regained his consciousness. Third brother, the Xia clan has been eliminated. Their heritage treasures have been divided among various clans and experts. This battle is very fierce, and it is not ending. Many clans have made enemies in this battle and are still fighting against each other. But Emperor Xiao has stayed out of this. It was the 60th year. Trouble, Tang of the East is in big trouble. The three big countries, West Paradise, South Mountain Kingdom, and North Sea Kingdom, had remained indifferent when Tang of the East was in turmoil. As peace is now being restored in Tang of the East, the three big countries have started fighting simultaneously. They must have discussed beforehand, because they had brought along some clans of Tang of the East, including several mansion masters of the 36 prefectures. Tang of the East is almost defenseless now. Third brother, when are you coming back? It was the 121st year after Jian Wushuang had regained his consciousness. Third brother, 11 of the 36 prefectures have fallen into the hands of the big three countries. Emperor Xiao and Emperor had put up a fight, but were defeated due to their existing injuries. The fight almost cost Emperor Yun his life. The big three's force is formidable. Tang of the East is unable to overcome it. It was the 128th year. Third brother, the big three countries have already fight their way to the front of the imperial palace. Emperor Xiao had decided to give up Tang of the East and depart with Her Highness. I had no choice but to let them know that you are alive. Knowing that you are alive, Emperor Xiao was elated and immediately decided against leaving. He paid a hefty sum for the eternal world's greatest formation master, Tao Master Spirit, to set up a strong formation around the imperial palace. Experts from the big three countries had tried to break the formation but failed. Even their celestial masters remain helpless in front of the formation. It was the 210th year. Third brother, I have good news, very good news. Her Highness has woken up. Not only has she woken up, she also improved her strength and is almost as strong as a celestial master. She even battled against experts from big three countries outside the formation. Many Tao masters of big three countries couldn't defeat her. Third brother, don't worry. Her Highness and the formation will prevent the experts of big three countries from taking over. Emperor Xiao has decided to wait for your return. It was the 580th year. Third brother, have you not returned yet? We have been hiding within this formation for hundreds of years. Although we're safe, the people from big three countries curse us from outside of the palace every day. Their words are so foul that even I'm irritated. Let alone Emperor Xiao. Terrible. Such a terrible feeling. Third brother, come back soon and kill this bunch of bastards. 1,200 years passed with Wang Yuan's message. In the cave dwellings deep underground, sat a figure with his legs crossed and surrounded by dark golden light. He had a handsome face and wore short hair. His muscles were bulging and the curves were almost perfect. The most attractive feature of his were the 3 golden quadrangular star images between his eyebrows. The figure shook all of a sudden. In the next moment, the figure opened his eyes. A streak of golden light went past in a flash. Thereafter, a huge rift, within which consisted of nothing, appeared in the space in front of him. The dark golden light that had surrounded Jian Wushuang's body vanished. Jian Wushuang's body landed on the ground, and he promptly put on a scarlet robe. 1,200 years. My body has finally recovered. Jian Wushuang clasped both of his hands firmly, eyes flashing. It had been the longest and the most mundane years for Jian Wushuang. During this period of time, he had concentrated on healing his body and could not cultivate his skills at all. Now, he has finally healed his body and upgraded his strength to a higher level. Eyes narrowed, Jian Wushuang released his bloodline power. Instantly, his entire body turned to a shade of dark golden, while at the same time, the 3 quadrangular star images between his eyebrows gleamed. 3-star ancient god, and an fully established 3-star imperial god at that. Jian Wushuang was delighted. He had previously consumed King Luozhen's inheritance essence blood by force, and even though 90% of it had gone to waste, the remaining power was not ineffectual. Over the past 1,200 years, while Jian Wushuang was healing himself, he had completely assimilated the ancient god power that he had cultivated. As a result, he had not only become an imperial god, but also enhanced his strength, attaining the 3rd star level. One must know that a 3-star ancient god was as powerful as a Tao master in the world of humans. But unfortunately, although his ancient god power had been enhanced, his ranking was not, which means that his ranking was still of the eternal level. Well, if you had slowly consumed the inheritance essence blood, you would have at least become a 6-star imperial god. Because of your careless handling, however, you have only achieved the 3rd star level. Fortunately, your imperial bloodline has been fully accomplished. King Gu spoke up. Hearing this, Jian Wushuang silently smiled, having no regrets at all. I'm just grateful that my imperial bloodline has completely formed. As for improving my strength, that's something supplementary and desirable, and I will not force myself to achieve anything. That's easy for you to say, but you have just wasted King Luozhen's painstaking efforts. Keep in mind that if you can't reach the 6-star level on your own, I will be the first one to come after you. I'll try my best. Jian Wushuang shrugged, and immediately felt the power stirring within himself. During the battle of the Imperial Palace, my combat power had become as strong as that of a rank 1 Tao master. Now that my ancient god power has made a breakthrough by reaching the 3rd star level, I'm stronger than ever. Jian Wushuang's eyes flashed with excitement. I have reached the 3-star Imperial God level, and there is a long way to go to achieve the ultimate level of the ancient God power. Nevertheless, my strength is comparable to that of a rank 2 Dao Master in the world of humans. My tactics and strategies will bring me one step closer to the peak of rank 2. Ancient gods were advantageously skilled. The strength of a top 3-star Imperial God was comparable to that of a top Dao Master of rank 3. Jian Wushuang had reached the 3rd-star level recently. Yet despite being an Imperial God, he could only compete with rank 2 Dao Masters. With the addition of his strategies, he can advance towards the top of rank 2. In comparison with his previous power at rank 1, he had indeed progressed tremendously. King Gu, I remember you mentioned that there are many great items left behind by Dao Yuanzi that'll be helpful to me. What are they? Jian Wushuang asked. King Gu, who had been nesting in the cave dwellings, swiftly flung an interspatial ring towards Jian Wushuang after hearing this. That is Dao Yuanzi's interspatial ring. Take a close look at it. I have already picked out the treasures which will be of great use for you. King Gu answered. Taking over the interspatial ring, Jian Wushuang scrutinized it. Dao Yuanzi came from the eternal chaotic world and was also a blood-killing sect expert, so his treasures had to be valuable. Jian Wushuang saw the mountains of treasures that filled the interspatial ring, most of which Jian Wushuang could not identify. They were large in quantity and their value was difficult to estimate. However, although these treasures were precious, only 4 of them were useful to Jian Wushuang, which had been picked out by Gu King. The first of these 4 treasures was, no doubt, the blood-killing plate armor. Blood-killing plate armor. With a flick of the wrist, Jian Wushuang was holding a blood-red armor that emitted a terrifying killing intent. The killing intent was so intense that even a Dao Master would turn pale in the face of it. Jian Wushuang had witnessed the blood-killing plate armor's power for himself and envied it. Now that Dao Yuanzi was dead, the armor fell into his hands. Declare your ownership first. Jian Wushuang smiled and declared his ownership of the armor right away. The blood-killing plate armor was an extremely fierce treasure, which was not easy to control. In the process of the ownership declaring, a horrifying consciousness attack was released from the blood-killing plate armor. The fierce consciousness attack could nearly destroy anyone that did not have a strong will and turn him into a complete murderous lunatic. Fortunately, he cultivated the universal Tao scripture and had a strong consciousness. In the end, he resisted the consciousness attack. It did not take long for Jian Wushuang to claim his ownership of the armor. A chaos magic treasure? Jian Wushuang was surprised. After claiming his ownership, he immediately noticed a message on the blood-killing plate armor that said that it was a chaos magic treasure. A chaos magic treasure is lower than a chaos divine treasure in terms of level. It can't compare with your mountain river map, but it's still quite good. Anyone who owns a chaos magic treasure must be an expert in the eternal chaotic world. Gu King's voice rang in Jian Wushuang's ears. The blood-killing plate armor is known for being fierce among the chaos magic treasures, and it is much more valuable than ordinary chaos magic treasures. Oh! Jian Wushuang's eyes flashed. He could see that the blood-killing plate armor was indeed valuable. And soon after, he also appreciated the ability of the blood-killing plate armor. As a fierce chaos magic treasure, it was incomparable in both attacking and defending. It could cut down 90% of an attack, allowing only the remaining 10% of the power to get through. And that was based on the condition that the enemy came from the eternal chaotic world and had a chaos magic treasure. Otherwise, if the enemy was from the green fire world and just a normal Dao Master, his attack would be decreased by 99%. Such terrifying defensive ability was greater than all the defensive treasures that Jian Wushuang had seen before. Does it really decrease a Dao Master's attacking power by 99%? Jian Wushuang's eyes flashed with excitement. It should be noted that he was now a 3-star Imperial God and had a strong body. Few Dao Masters could hurt him. Now, with the blood-killing plate armor, he could decrease the enemy's attacking power by 99%. Thus, fewer Dao Masters could touch him. Even a rank 3 Dao Master could not hurt him very much. With my strong body and the blood-killing plate armor, only a Dao Master at the peak of rank 3 can hurt me, and just barely. Moreover, even if I do get injured, Gu King will heal me in a short time. That is to say, rank 3 Dao Masters, including Emperor Shao, Emperor Yun, and other experts at the peak of rank 3 can't kill me. Even those who are close to the Celestial Master level can't hurt me either. One must have the power at the Celestial Master level to touch me. Jian Wushuang's eyes flashed with excitement. It should be known that only a few Celestial Masters existed in the Green Fire world. And the Celestial Masters in the Green Fire world were all old monsters who had lived for many years. They would not attack someone at random. You could say that with such a remarkable life-saving skill, Jian Wushuang could go anywhere he wanted in the Green Fire world. Moreover, this was only about its defending ability. Its improvement of attacking power was also enormous. When Jian Wushuang was a Blood Eagle guard, he had gotten a Blood Eagle armor which had doubled his strength. Actually, the Blood Eagle armor was modeled exactly after the Blood-Killing Plate armor. The Blood-Killing Plate armor contained a secret skill, which was divided into 3 stages. One would need the Dao Master's power to drive the first stage. Jian Wushuang was a 3-star Dao Master, so he could easily drive the first stage secret skill. Inside the cave mansion, Jian Wushuang put on the blood-red robe that was transformed by the Blood-Killing Plate armor. As Jian Wushuang drove the first stage secret skill, the blood-red robe took on a red glow. And a weird, blood-red mysterious crack surrounded Jian Wushuang. Jian Wushuang clenched his right hand and exploded the air. Then he punched forward casually. He punched a spiral tunnel in the void. The tunnel spiraled forward in the void toward the stone wall in front of him. Clang! The entire cave mansion shook madly. The stone walls were crushed into dust, which was then flicked off to somewhere far away. Jian Wushuang was delighted by the sight of this. Wow! My attacking power has even improved more than 10 times over. Jian Wushuang roared. As a 3-star Imperial God with his current skills, he was nearly at the peak of rank 2. But now, when he displayed the secret skill of the Blood-Killing Plate armor, his attacking power had increased by more than 10 times, which made his combat power soar. He used to barely be at the peak of rank 2, but now he was a real-deal rank 3 Dao Master. In the Eternal Realm with a rank 3 Dao Master's battle strength? Jian Wushuang found it unbelievable at first, but then quickly realized. He was an Eternal Realm inverse cultivator that was equal to a Dao Master in the Eternal Chaotic world. Moreover, a 3-star Ancient God was equivalent to a Dao Master among human beings. Therefore, it was normal that he had reached such a state. From now on, in this Green Fire world, I will be a real-deal powerhouse. The Blood-Killing Plate armor can greatly improve your strength, but the other 3 treasures are also quite good. You can take a closer look at them. Gu King's voice rang out. Jian Wushuang immediately looked at the other 3 useful treasures. One of the remaining 3 treasures was an ancient flying black boat. It had been shrunk and was held in the interspatial ring. Jian Wushuang could feel the flying boat's aura and its formation. Is this a flying boat? Jian Wushuang was in doubt. That is the spaceship. Gu King said, the Eternal Chaotic world is huge. The distance between worlds is far beyond your imagination. Under normal circumstances, a Dao Master needs to spend tens of thousands of years to reach the nearest neighboring world. To save time, they invent all kinds of transportation treasures. The most common of these is the spaceship. When you become a Dao Master in the future, you will definitely go to the Eternal Chaotic world. If you only rely on your feet, it will be too much trouble. The spaceship in front of you can save you a lot of traveling time by accelerating your speed by 1,000 times. And although it's not a high-end spaceship, it's expensive. Is that so? Jian Wushuang nodded and appeared shocked. A Dao Master was already fast and could travel 10,000 miles in an instant. This spaceship actually could increase that speed by 1,000 times. However, it could only be used outside of a realm. If it was within a realm, for example in the Green Fire world where laws were different, it could not be activated. I don't need the spaceship now, but when I enter the Eternal Chaotic world, it will be of great use to me, Jian Wushuang thought. Then Jian Wushuang looked at the 3rd treasure. The 3rd treasure was 2 golden beads the size of a baby's fist. The golden beads emitted a strange aura, which even Jian Wushuang found amazing. "Gu King, what are these?" asked Jian Wushuang. "Those are chaos gold beads. The blood-killing sect invented this special treasure, and then it became widely acclaimed in the eternal chaotic world." Gu King continued. "The blood-killing sect invented it? Is it an evil treasure?" Jian Wushuang frowned. "This treasure itself is not evil. On the contrary, it has a great effect on all cultivators. Almost all the experts in the eternal chaotic world want the chaos gold beads. The treasure is not evil. However, its refining process is quite evil." Gu King sounded grave. "Why do you say that?" Jian Wushuang asked in doubt. "A chaos gold bead is made of hundreds of millions of lives," Gu King said. "Hundreds of millions of lives? Isn't that the same as the life-devouring formations process?" Jian Wushuang widened his eyes. "No, it isn't." Gu King shook his head and continued. "The life-devouring formation reduces lives to nothing, while the chaos gold bead consumes only the small purest part of one's life. Therefore, the lives that have been refined can survive, and after some time, they can completely recover from it." "Is that so?" Jian Wushuang said while cocking one eyebrow. "Although it was invented by the blood-killing sect, the chaos gold bead is common in the eternal chaotic world. Later on, many experts and forces secretly refined chaos gold beads. Some even especially raised a few eternal world creatures to refine the chaos gold beads," Gu King said. "Raised a few eternal world creatures?" Jian Wushuang was shocked. "How did they do that?" Gu King replied, "I just said that the refining of the chaos gold bead only needs a part of the vitality, and that vitality can still be recovered. Some forces occupy a realm to raise creatures. Every once in a while, they extract part of the creature's vitality to refine the chaos gold bead. Then, when the creatures recover, they extract their vitality again. Such is their practice. They actually raise creatures to use their vitality." "How cruel," Jian Wushuang commented. "In the vast eternal chaotic world, anything goes. There are countless things that are 100 times crueler and eviler. What can you say about raising a world of creatures?" Jian Wushuang took a deep breath and soon collected himself. "Gu King, what is the effect of the chaos gold bead?" Jian Wushuang asked. "The chaos gold bead absorbs the purest part of life, and after special refining, it will be free from impurities. That is to say, you can consume the energy in the chaos gold bead directly. The energy will be all yours, which is much easier than cultivating and accumulating by yourself. Take you as an example, you have just become a 3-star ancient god and have the power of a 3-star ancient god. If you want to cultivate and accumulate the ancient god power to reach the top of the 3-star level, it'll take you a long time. However, if you have the chaos gold bead, it will be different. The chaos gold bead contains a huge amount of energy. As long as you continue to absorb it, you can swiftly improve your ancient god power. Dao Yuanzi has left 2 low-grade chaos gold beads. At your speed, within 1,000 years, you should be able to absorb one of them. And after consuming the other one, you will be able to reach the peak of the 3-star level, and even break through to the 4-star level. If you swallow both of them at the same time, you may increase your ancient god power to the 4-star level, or maybe above the 4-star level. Moreover, the energy in the chaos gold bead is pure. There are no impurities. You don't have to worry about any side effects. The energy will build you up and help you grow in the future," said Gu King. "Is it that remarkable?" Jian Wushuang thought. No wonder the experts and forces in the eternal chaotic world occupied realms to raise creatures to refine chaos gold beads. The chaos gold bead was indeed effective. Jian Wushuang found himself tempted by the bead. Even though the refining of the chaos gold bead was evil and even vicious, which Jian Wushuang resented a lot. But since it was already made, the refining process had nothing to do with him. Jian Wushuang would not hesitate to absorb the 2 chaos gold beads. "It's high time for you to enhance your ancient god power now that you've reached the 3-star level for ancient god. These chaos gold beads should help. Swallow one now and take a second one after you've fully absorbed the power of the first," said King Gu. "All right." Jian Wushuang nodded. He took a chaos gold bead and swallowed it without hesitation. The chaos gold bead emitted numerous threads of clear, purified energy once it entered his system, and he subsequently absorbed them all. "This chaos gold bead is sure helpful," he said, smiling. "The fourth treasure that you might need is something concerning swordsmanship." King Gu spoke again. Jian Wushuang also turned his eyes to that treasure. It was an ancient jade slip that recorded an elite swordsman's reflections. He wouldn't have been surprised if these were common reflections belonging to a Dao master. His expression changed when he saw that reflections were about swordsmanship. "The strongest sword principle?" Jian Wushuang blurted out in surprise. The elite swordsman didn't leave a name. Instead, he left behind the most powerful sword principle. "You're really lucky. Though you've sacrificed a lot in the war and even wasted 90% of the inherited essence blood from King Luozhen, you still gained a lot. Blood-killing plate armor, spaceship from another realm, and chaos gold beads. Any one of these treasures would elicit the envy of the elites in the eternal chaotic world. Yet Dao Yuanzi's interspatial ring even stored a record of an elite's reflections on the most powerful swordsmanship." King Gu exclaimed in admiration while cackling. Jian Wushuang's eyes were also filled with wild joy. The strongest sword principle. In Green Fire World, sword principles that Dao masters developed and owned exclusively were usually divided into 3 classes: general level, universal level, and creation level. Sword principles of the third kind were rare and valuable. The reason why Xiamang was able to reach the top level amongst his rank 1 peers after his advancement to a Dao master was that he had developed a creation level principle. However, Jian Wushuang had heard that there was an even higher level of sword principles beyond the creation level, which had reached the extremes of the universe. It was thus considered the strongest sword principles. The strongest sword principles were only described in sagas and legends in the Green Fire World. There had emerged numerous talents in the history in this world, but in the archives of time, no more than 5 had truly developed the strongest sword principle. That was how rare it was. The only surviving elite who had developed the strongest sword principle in the Green Fire World was Sunrise Sword Emperor, universally acknowledged to be the #1 sword cultivator. Most people didn't even know anything about these sword principles because it was too difficult to develop them. However, Jian Wushuang had now obtained a record of reflections by an elite who had developed the strongest sword principles. This was a great gift of fortune for him. You might want to dig into the strongest sword principle recorded in this jade slip and use the elite's experience for reference. But bear in mind that imitation is strictly restricted, King Gu warned solemnly. You must develop sword principles on your own, for they're always exclusive. It's this exclusiveness that grants you the strongest power and helps you become a Dao master. If you blindly comprehend and imitate someone else's learnings, the sword principles you end up with won't be of much help. It doesn't matter even if you fully understood it. It's useless as it doesn't belong to you. I see. Jian Wushuang made a small nod. Great. In fact, I've already found that the sword soul you've awakened was the strongest kind. It'll later transform into a sword heart, which remains the strongest of its kind. Those with the strongest sword hearts would obtain the qualifications necessary to develop the strongest sword principles. It'll be easy for you to develop principles of general or universal levels. With a little effort and opportunity, it won't be a problem for you to create sword principles at the creation level either. However, it'd be such a waste if you only develop sword principles at the creation level and use them to facilitate your advancement to a Dao master, especially since you've obtained the strongest sword heart. Principles could have an extraordinary impact on your future development. Therefore, the more powerful your principles are, the better. The most powerful sword heart has already assured you an advantageous position from the beginning, but you still need to set a bottom line for yourself. You must develop at least 1 strongest sword principle before becoming a Dao master. As for the 2nd or 3rd principle, you're free to choose a sword principle of the creation level, said King Gu. At least 1 strongest sword principle before becoming a Dao master? Jian Wushuang smiled before making a firm nod. Those who possessed the strongest sword hearts would undoubtedly waste their talent if they didn't strive for the most powerful sword principles. This jade slip has comprehensive records of one of the most powerful sword principles. I'll take my time to study them later. For now, our most urgent task is returning to the Kingdom Tang of the Eastern Land. Jian Wushuang's eyes sharpened. He had been staying here to rebuild his body for the past 1,200 years, but he had learned of the events in the Kingdom Tang through Wang Yuan's messages. He was well aware of the current condition of the kingdom. He was helpless in the past because his body had yet to recover, but things were different now. Thus, Jian Wushuang immediately left the cave mansion and headed for the land above. He reappeared in the sky a while later and found an old man in a white robe standing in front of him. Though the old man was an Eternal Realm expert, he couldn't help trembling in fear in front of Jian Wushuang. He had no choice but to answer Jian Wushuang's questions. Thanks for the information. Jian Wushuang waved abstractedly and sent the old man away. He then took out the star map. I'm currently in the floating water region not far from Tang of the East. If I rush there, it'll take me at most a month. Once there, I'd be able to reach the Imperial Palace in a moment through the tunnel. Jian Wushuang clenched his fists. He then took out a messaging slip to send a message to Wang Yuan. Brother Wang Yuan, please inform Emperor Xiao that I've fully recovered and am currently heading for Tang. I should arrive outside the Imperial Palace in a month. Tell them to have a little more patience. I'll take my revenge once I'm back. I won't let off any of my enemies, whoever they are, whether they're the experts from the 3 big countries or elites from influential clans. In the Imperial Palace in Tang of the East. The newly constructed Imperial Palace wasn't as majestic as the one before, but it was still impressive and vast. However, ever since the experts of the 3 big countries attacked the Imperial Palace 1,000 years ago, it was completely encapsulated in an enormous formation. The experts from the 3 big countries chose to stay outside of the palace, making it impossible for anyone to leave the palace for 1,000 years. Those who wanted to leave was either killed or had escaped back to the palace after fighting. For 1,000 years, experts from Tang of the East hid like tortoise inside their shells, afraid to leave the formation. They lost all of their pride alongside the luck of their country. Their country had fallen to its lowest point from its prime in the Green Fire world. The experts in Green Fire world all agreed that the destruction of Tang of the East was only a matter of time. Palaces and buildings stood and hovered above the vast earth in front of the Imperial Palace. That was where the experts and Tao masters of the 3 big countries stayed in for the past 1,000 years to monitor the palace. No movement in and out of the palace would go unnoticed. Inside an intricately designed building, 4 Tao masters were having a drink. 3 of them were showering praises on a red-robed man with a devil-like face. Tao Master Gu Ji, War God Di Jing of Tang of the East would have killed me if not for you. I'll never forget that you saved my life. Di Jing appears to be Emperor Zhao's earliest follower amongst the 10 war gods. He's indeed Emperor Zhao's top commander with his strength at rank 2. Out of everyone here, only Tao Master Gu Ji can defeat him. Come, come. Cheers to Tao Master Gu Ji. The 3 of them raised their cups. The red-robed man laughed coldly upon hearing their words and extended his arm. Di Jing is nothing to me. It was pure luck that he even escaped last time. If I meet him again, I'll definitely end him. Of course, Di Jing is no match for you, the 3 of them said in agreement. To be fair, they were sure that Gu Ji wasn't much stronger than Di Jing. In a face-to-face battle, Di Jing might have a chance of defeating him. It would be near impossible for Gu Ji to actually kill Di Jing. Everyone in Tang of the East is now hiding in the Imperial Palace like cowards. Emperor Xiao and Emperor Yun were severely injured since a long time ago and couldn't even use 20% of their original strength. Within the entire Imperial Palace, Lung Rushuang is probably the only one stronger than Tao Master Gu Ji. One of the Tao Masters said. Lung Rushuang, Gu Ji sneered. I've seen her before. She's indeed the top beauty of the eternal world with an unrivaled elegance. No wonder Jian Wushuang is smitten with her. Jian Wushuang himself is an outstanding individual. If not for the fact that he died assassinating Dao Yuanzi, his achievements today will also be impressive. Gu Ji sneered. A man, however strong, is useless when dead. He's an idiot. Though he committed such an outstanding feat for Lung Rushuang, he still ended up with nothing. He was jealous of Jian Wushuang. That was because he was a prodigy too. When he was in the Eternal Realm, his power shocked the entire Green Fire world. Even today, many still applauded his immense talent. However, ever since the battle at the Imperial Palace that ended 1,200 years ago, Jian Wushuang became known as the top talent in the history of the Green Fire world after his battle results were announced. His talent far suppressed Gu Ji's. It made Gu Ji very uncomfortable. Moreover, he was also interested in Lung Rushuang. However, she had her eyes fixed on Jian Wushuang, which made him even more jealous. Gu Ji suddenly stood up. "Let's go play in the Imperial Palace." Delighted, the other 3 Dao Masters immediately followed him. Soon, they arrived in front of the Imperial Palace. Looking beyond the transparent formation, they could see the happenings of the Imperial Palace and the disillusioned experts in it. Those experts could only hide in the formation for 1,000 years. That naturally made many of them disillusioned and depressed. Gu Ji sneered and ordered the Dao Master next to him. "Let's start." The Dao Master laughed and turned around. "Cowards of Tang of the East." A deep voice penetrated the formation and resounded at the top of the Imperial Palace. "Ha! The people of Tang of the East, the greatest nation, now hide cowardly within the Imperial Palace, afraid to leave. Ha ha." Many inside the palace heard his laughter. They were all enraged. However, they were more disappointed and depressed than infuriated. They had heard such mockery and scolding countless times in the past 1,000 years and had long gotten used to them. "Emperor Shao, Emperor Yun, aren't you 2 top emperors? Why don't you dare show yourselves now? You 2 really amaze me. You cowards act like 2 tortoises instead of emperors. Ridiculous. Incredibly ridiculous. How about we call you Tortoise instead of emperors? Tortoise Shao and Tortoise Yun. Ha! 2 giant tortoises that lost all the face of Tang of the East. If I were the founding emperor of Tang, I'd be so enraged that I'd climb out of my coffin." Waves of laughter entered the formation one after another, resounding like thunder on top of the Imperial Palace. Within the palace, top-tier experts of Tang of the East were infuriated. If not for Emperor Zhao's command, they would have charged out to battle those bastards outside. "I've been scolding for so long, but no one from Tang of the East even showed up. Such cowards." The laughter continued. "Bastard! I can't endure any further." Following a loud resounding roar, a figure leaped out of the Imperial Palace with vast overarching aura and a pair of crazy eyes. It was none other than Di Jing. Seeing that Di Jing had run out of the Imperial Palace, Gu Ji's eyes lit up as a wave of murderous intent swept over him. He charged mercilessly at Di Jing. "Ha! Di Jing, you've yet to recover from the severe injuries I caused you last time. It'd be the death of you today since you dare to come out." Gu Ji cackled. He knew that it would be difficult to kill Di Jing at the latter's peak, but it was a different story now that Di Jing was severely injured. "Die!" Gu Ji shouted with a cold voice as he thrust his long spear and created a hole in the void. "Even if I die, you won't live well." Di Jing was infuriated. For the past 1,000 years, he heard ruthless mockery and scolding from outside the palace day after day. He couldn't endure it any longer. He would rather die now as a hero than continue living as a coward in the palace. Bang! 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 The 2 moved like lightning, creating a big ruckus. The experts from the 3 big countries, as well as those from Tang of the East, were alerted of this battle. Numerous experts from Tang of the East appeared above the Imperial Palace, with Lung Rushuang spearheading them. Emperor Shao and Emperor Lung, however, were still resting to recover from their severe injuries. Di Jing attacked. Didn't Emperor Shao command us not to leave? Why did he still fight? Humph! How can anyone stand being mocked every day? It's no surprise seeing how hot-tempered Di Jing is. Di Jing was heavily injured in the last battle and had yet to fully recover. To begin with, Dao Master Gu Ji is stronger than him. The result of this battle is likely. The experts from Tang of the East were all pessimistic. Following an explosive noise from the battlefield, Di Jing's weapon flew out of his hand while the shockwaves threw his body backward. Gu Ji took advantage of the situation and charged ahead, piercing Di Jing's head. "Oh no! Hurry! Save him! Save him!" Blood drained from the faces of the experts from Tang of the East. Lung Rushuang charged forth, leading the rest. However, there was someone faster than her. The person didn't come from within the palace but rather somewhere near the imperial palace. "Haha! Die! Di Jing!" Gu Ji had a sinister expression as he left out a cunning laughter. His long spear was already right in front of Di Jing, ready to penetrate his skull. However, just then, a blood-red flowing light entered the battlefield. A powerful force erupted and blocked Gu Ji's spear, even sending shockwaves to his body. "What?" Gu Ji came to a stop and stared straight ahead. A young man wearing a blood-red robe stood there calmly, with 3 quadrangular stars on his mid-brows. He carried a sword and emitted an eternal realm aura that gave Gu Ji a strange feeling and a slight pressure. "It's just an insignificant ant in the eternal realm." "What happened?" Gu Ji frowned. Di Jing, who had almost died, opened his eyes wide in bewilderment, staring intensely at the man in front of him. The man was too familiar to him. Hadn't he died 1,200 years ago? "Jie Jian," Di Jing stuttered. The person turned his head and replied calmly, "Senior Di Jing, please return to the imperial palace." Di Jing was shocked, but he suppressed his joy. After shooting Gu Ji a sympathetic glance, he turned around and ran. "Humph! Want to run?" Gu Ji sneered as he didn't intend on letting Di Jing leave. It would be ridiculous for him to miss such a good opportunity to kill Di Jing. Gu Ji took a step forward and closed in for 10 miles. Simultaneously, he clenched his right hand into a fist to throw his spear out, emitting an extraordinary strength that propelled the spear forward. The force, as well as the thunderbolts surrounding the spear, easily pierced through the void. Many Dao masters turned pale upon witnessing his terrifying power. This move bore Gu Ji's full power as a top-tier rank 2 master. The spear charged directly at Di Jing, but before it could land on him, the young swordsman inserted himself in front of Gu Ji in an attempt to block the attack. "How dare you!" Following Gu Ji's cold voice, the power of the spear increased again. Even a rank 2 master like Di Jing couldn't block this attack. How can an eternal realm expert withstand it? Indeed, the red-robed young man was unable to block the spear, and it directly hit his chest. Clang! The noise was akin to metals colliding. After the sound disappeared, all momentum and aura returned back to normal. 2 men stood facing one another in the void. Gu Ji remained in the position where he had thrown his spear, while his spear was still on the young man's body. However, the spear didn't even penetrate the young man's clothes, much less kill him. The young man stood there calmly. The spear was powerful indeed, but he never backed down too. How is this possible? Gu Ji widened his eyes in bewilderment. Being a top-tier rank 2 Dao master, it was ridiculous that he failed to even penetrate the clothes of someone from the eternal realm with his spear, especially since he had used his full force. Is this a joke? He? Gu Ji stared intensely at the young man as an idea popped up in his head. Even though he was only from the eternal realm, there could only be one sword principal cultivator with such power. He must be. Staring at the red-robed young man, Gu Ji's surprise turned into astonishment. "Jian Wushuang! You're Jian Wushuang!" His shriek shook the entire imperial palace. A mysterious smile crept up on the young man's face. His crisp laughter then resounded in the air. "Let me introduce myself. I'm the emperor's son-in-law of the Great Tang, Jian Wushuang." "Let me introduce myself. I'm the emperor's son-in-law of the Great Tang, Jian Wushuang." His crisp voice resounded in the world, brewing an unexpected storm that shook everyone. Everyone, be it experts from the 3 big countries or those inside the imperial palace, widened their eyes in disbelief. Jian Wushuang? The peerless genius that showcased his incredible strength and talent 1,200 years ago. The one who saved Tang of the East from destruction all by himself. Isn't he dead? How? How are you still alive? Dao Master Guji stared at Jian Wushuang with uncertainty before his murderous intent returned. Humph! So what if you're Jian Wushuang? You're still only in the eternal realm. In the battle of the Imperial Palace 1,000 years ago, you must have used a trump card to show such incredible strength. It's unfortunate you won't be able to use such a trump card again, Guji said coldly. His expression became more twisted. He was extremely jealous of Jian Wushuang. Now that he had seen Jian Wushuang in person, he began harboring the ambition and desire to defeat Jian Wushuang in front of everyone and enhance his reputation all across the eternal world. I don't believe someone from the eternal realm can be this powerful. Guji moved once more following his crazed roar. Dark flashes of blinding light surrounded his spear as it pierced ahead. The light shrouded his eyes too. Venomous dragon killing. With an incredulous murderous intent, the spear and the dark lights pierced forth. That was the perfect showcase of the power of a top-tier rank 2 Dao Master. He utilized his trump card, making this attack stronger than the previous one. Furthermore, he aimed at Jian Wushuang's midbrows this time. Jian Wushuang smiled in the face of such a terrifying force and didn't even try to evade it. Instead, he spread his red robe open like a scarlet armor, and it perfectly enveloped his head. Clang! The sound of metal colliding once again resounded, alongside the sparks of flames. Jian Wushuang didn't budge. Impossible! Guji shrieked crazily, in disbelief over the fact that his attack was ineffective. The previous spear merely touched Jian Wushuang's body. With his intense physical strength, it was entirely possible for him to defend himself perfectly. However, Guji couldn't accept that his trump card and his full-force attack aimed at Jian Wushuang's midbrows still left him unscathed. Exactly how terrifying is his defense? Everyone spectating this battle shared the same thoughts. How can he be unscathed after receiving the brunt of a top-tier rank 2 Dao Master's full-force attack? How many people in the Green Fire world can do the same? These people were unaware that Jian Wushuang's strong physical body and blood-killing plate armor, which reduced 99% of the force of the attack, could defend him from even rank 3 Dao Masters. I let you attack with your spear twice. Shouldn't you face one of my fingers now? Jian Wushuang smiled mockingly. Oh no! Guji was petrified. Jian Wushuang didn't give him any chance to escape. His ancient god power, which had achieved the 3-star power, condensed on the index finger of his right hand, spreading its aura all across the land. Ancient god finger. Barrier breaking. Jian Wushuang pointed his index finger, which contained an intense force, at Guji in front of him. Boom! A giant hole was ripped open in the void. Within the changing colors of the heavens, a giant gold finger came flying from the distant past. It shot right out of the hole and directly hit Guji. As a top-tier rank 2 Dao Master, Guji couldn't help using all his life-preserving trump cards for survival. He ran and screamed, all while still struggling. However, such struggles seemed futile in face of the giant gold finger. Without a single chance of escape, he was entirely crushed and killed by the giant gold finger. Now, let me settle the 3 of you. Jian Wushuang stared coldly at the 3 Dao Master on the side of the battlefield. Since the 3 of them had come here with Guji to mock Emperor Shao and Emperor Yun, Jian Wushuang wouldn't simply let them off. Let's run. Hurry and run. They scrambled to escape once they saw that they were at a complete disadvantage. Jian Wushuang sneered as he used his mind-controlling secret skill. Mind-controlling secret skill was another secret skill from the ancient gods. The effectiveness of the skill improved alongside his enhanced ancient god power. The sudden consciousness attack on the 3 Dao Masters completely stunned them as they were only rank 1 Dao Masters. Their bodies inevitably stopped moving. Then, the devastatingly beautiful sword shadow descended. It was as cold and beautiful as snowflakes from the winter as it sliced their throats and destroyed their life cores. The 3 corpses fell to the ground. Jian Wushuang kept their interspatial rings and snorted. With my strength and mind-controlling secret skill, it's a piece of cake for me to kill rank 1 Dao Masters. Dao Masters were all capable experts with good life-preserving abilities. Normally, it would be hard for them to even die. However, thanks to consciousness attacks such as mind-controlling secret skill, it was indeed easy for him to slaughter rank 1 and rank 2 Dao Masters. After killing the 4 Dao Masters, Jian Wushuang raised his head and stared ahead. 10 experts from the 3 big countries had already gathered in front of him. 3 people led them. They were here to rescue Gu Ji after realizing that he was in danger. However, Jian Wushuang struck too quickly and instantly killed the 4 Dao Masters, making it impossible for them to do anything. Jian Wushuang. The experts stood there, looking at Jian Wushuang with extremely complicated emotions. Everyone present stared at the most brilliant genius in the history of the Green Fire world. 3 big countries? Humph! Jian Wushuang's cold stare stunned the experts from the 3 big countries as his cool voice reverberated in the air. It seems like the 3 big countries have been particularly arrogant during the time that I was gone, and Tang of the East is heavily injured after the war. The face of the experts darkened. Jian Wushuang continued. Tell the rulers of the 3 big countries that I give them 3 days. 3 days for them to give me a reason. If not, be prepared to endure my wrath. He headed straight for the imperial palace, ignoring them. The experts exchanged looks before immediately hurrying off to deliver his message to their rulers. Many top-tier experts from Tang of the East had already gathered at the palace encapsulated in a giant formation. They stared at the young man with reverence as he walked slowly toward the formation. These men were old, some of them many times Jian Wushuang's age. Even so, they greatly respected him. After all, it was power that earned one respect in this world. Jian Wushuang's strength justified their reverence for him. Jian Wushuang inched closer to the crowd amidst everyone's stare. His eyes were completely fixated on one person. His attention was on a devastatingly lovely woman that would put any beauty to shame. It was Lung Rushuang. Though her aura remained as cold as ever, she stared back at Jian Wushuang with a tinge of surprise and delight in her eyes. When she woke up and discovered that he was dead, she became overwhelmed with grief. She wouldn't have survived all these years had Emperor Xiao not tell her that he was still alive. Now he was in front of her again. I'm back, he whispered. She gave a small nod in response. Without the need for redundant words, the simple gesture of exchanging greetings drew intense passion from their eyes. The most important things were left unspoken. Father and Uncle Yun are waiting for you after receiving word of your arrival. Come with me, Lung Rushuang said. All right. Jian Wushuang nodded and followed her to the ground level of the imperial palace. Inside the palace, he saw his sworn brothers, Wang Yuan and Yang Zixuan. They were naturally delighted. After a quick exchange of greetings, he entered a great hall. A layer of restriction separated the 5 people inside the hall from the world outside. These people were Jian Wushuang, Lang Rushuang, Emperor Xiao, Emperor Yun, and a curvy lady in an aquamarine robe. Jian Wushuang, this is Dao Master Spirit. She's responsible for building the formation. If not for her, those from the 3 big countries would have entered the imperial palace long ago, Emperor Xiao explained. Nice to meet you, Dao Master Spirit. Jian Wushuang bowed to the curvy lady. You're too courteous, young man. Dao Master Spirit stood up to exchange the greetings, humility and respect written all over her face. Your talent is unparalleled in history. It looks like we'll have an extraordinary existence in our world soon. You're too polite. Jian Wushuang smiled, getting a good first impression of Dao Master Spirit. In fact, she and Sunrise Sword Emperor were the creators of one of his killing moves, the 9th Heaven Sword formation. When the show of courtesy was done and over with, Emperor Xiao addressed Jian Wushuang and said, When Wang Yuan told me that you're still alive, I didn't really believe him. But I'm glad that you're back at a time when Tang of the East is facing its biggest crisis ever. When I was recovering, I've already heard about it from brother Wang Yuan. It's indeed horrible, Jiang Wushuang said solemnly. Emperor Xiao. Before he could finish his sentence, Emperor Xiao interrupted him. Don't call me Emperor. If you're willing to, you can call me Uncle Xiao. Either way, you're more or less a couple with Shuanger. We just need to conduct the wedding. Jian Wushuang was stunned but soon let out a smile. Beside him, Lung Rushuang blushed without saying anything. Let's discuss business first. Emperor Xiao chuckled. The experts from the 3 big countries now reside outside the palace. We've relied on Dao Master Spirit's formation all these years to defend the palace. Unfortunately, though her formation is strong and durable, it can't last much longer. Oh! Jian Wushuang looked surprised. I used some special methods and treasures to craft the formation, allowing us to defend against the experts of the 3 big countries. However, these methods require a huge energy input, Dao Master Spirit explained. I replaced the energy needed with a treasure called the Eternal Gem. However, I only have 3 gems and each can only maintain the formation for around 500 years. I've already finished 2 gems and the 3rd one is being used up now. The formation can, at most, stand for another 400 years. Eternal Gem? Jian Wushuang frowned. The Eternal Gem is a treasure that contains a huge amount of energy. It's rare even in the eternal chaotic world. Dao Yuanzi, an expert from the blood-killing sect, has numerous treasures but only 2 of these gems. Gu Qing's voice resounded in Jian Wushuang's mind. Only 2. Jian Wushuang shook his head. 2 gems would only buy them 1,000 years of time. The impact was negligible. Moreover, he refused to hide inside the imperial palace. When I entered the palace, I passed a message to the ruler of the 3 big countries, ordering them to give me a satisfying response. They'll respond as long as they're not stupid or hotspurs, Jian Wushuang said. The rest looked at each other and smiled. Jian Wushuang was indeed a huge threat to the 3 big countries. No one in the green fire world would dare look down on him. Not even the unearthly and saint-like master of the Void Temple dared to underestimate him. Since I've said my piece, we only need to judge the choice made the rulers of the 3 big countries now. I hope they make the correct decision. Otherwise, I'd have to fight to my death. Jian Wushuang's eyes thinned into a slit, with the light of passion shining from within. The worst possible outcome was for him to engage in a brutal battle. It would be best if they could end the war. Then, the experts from the 3 big countries would retreat and leave Tang of the East. Though the country would still suffer in this scenario, the loss was acceptable. Either way, the country would not make such a recovery in a short while with Emperor Xiao and Emperor Yun heavily injured. Even if it recovered, the country would still lose in a direct war against the 3 big countries. Tang of the East had suffered too much during the war at the Imperial Palace 1,200 years ago. Later on, conflict broke out in the Xia clan, resulting in a chaotic civil war within Tang of the East, weakening the country even further. Not even Jian Wushuang's return would be able to immediately rejuvenate the might of the country. In such a scenario, it would be impossible for the country to retaliate and seek revenge on the 3 big nations. Thus, the country could only compromise and promise not to seek revenge on the 3 big countries. It would be enough as long as the outsiders leave and give the country the opportunity to recuperate. They could always find an opportunity for revenge after the country recovered. Then, they could talk about their past humiliations of being trapped helplessly in the imperial palace. Let us calmly wait here for 3 days, Emperor Xiao said. The others in the palace nodded in agreement. Right at the same time, the rulers of the 3 big countries had also gathered in their camp. The 3 of them immediately started their discussion after receiving the news. Jian Wushuang dissipated into blood fog in front of so many of us. How is he still alive? The purple-haired man with a gloomy face was the first to speak. He was the ruler of West Paradise. In the Green Fire world, he was called West Paradise Emperor. I can't believe it either. Could we have made a mistake, Ape Celestial Master? A gray-robed elder asked, frowning. He was South Emperor, the ruler of South Mountain Kingdom. The last man wore a pure gold imperial robe. Complementing his solemn demeanor was the strongest aura amongst all 3 emperors. His aura was stronger than that of Emperor Xiao and Emperor Yun at their peak. He was evidently a celestial master. He was of the same realm as Xia Yong, the ancestor of the Xia clan that Jian Wushuang killed. He originated from the North Sea Kingdom. Those in the Green Fire world called him Ape Celestial Master. Humph! Ape Holy Master looked around him before saying, Yes, many people saw that. But the man who killed Dao Master Guji outside the Imperial Palace was an Eternal Realm expert. If it's not Jian Wushuang, who in the Eternal Realm could kill a top-tier rank 2 Dao Master? West Paradise Emperor and South Emperor were both stunned. Furthermore, the expert uses a sword. That means he's obviously a sword principle cultivator. The finger that he used to kill Dao Master Guji was the same as the one he used in the war 1,200 years ago. He's Jian Wushuang. There's no need to doubt his identity and speculate about how he revived himself. Our problem right now is how we should deal with this situation, and Jian Wushuang, Ape Celestial Master cried. West Paradise Emperor and South Emperor frowned. How? How do we deal with Jian Wushuang? It was widely known that Jian Wushuang saved the entire Tang of the East by himself in the war at the Imperial Palace. Many experts had closely observed and noticed that his power at the end was far stronger than any Dao Master. He had achieved something of another realm. That realm wasn't something that any of the experts could even dream of reaching. Even Ape Celestial Master, the strongest of them all, was just a joke in the eyes of experts of that level. If Jian Wushuang had the same strength now, how could the 3 big countries even defend themselves? Fear. Though he was a mere Eternal Realm expert, he managed to invoke the deepest fear in all 3 rulers. Humph! Jian Wushuang is just an Eternal Realm expert. Even though he killed Dao Yuanzi 1,200 years ago, he must have used some unusual methods, and it's unlikely he'll be able to use them again. In other words, he's no longer as strong as he was back then. Ape Celestial Master murmured. I also don't believe that he can use the same power again. West Paradise Emperor nodded in agreement. That's right. But what if he still retains that power? South Emperor retorted quietly. West Paradise Emperor and Ape Celestial Master were stunned. That's right. Even if it's unlikely, it's still possible. What if Jian Wushuang still retains that power? With such a power, killing us would be as easy as crushing ants. Furthermore, even if he's unable to retain his power, his potential is unmatched. If he doesn't die, his threat to the 3 big countries will be paramount in the future, South Emperor said. West Paradise Emperor and Ape Celestial Master couldn't help but keep quiet on the issue. Jian Wushuang's potential was another huge problem for them. Even if he wasn't strong enough to be a concern, his ability to kill a top-tier rank 2 Dao Master while being in the Eternal Realm meant that he would be incredibly powerful after becoming a Dao Master. If he had numerous Dao and became a rank 3 Dao Master, his power would be unparalleled. Could he be another Sunrise Sword Emperor? West Paradise Emperor asked in a trembling voice. Ape Celestial Master and South Emperor's bodies shook as fear crept up to them. Sunrise Sword Emperor? That was a freak of nature that they would rather die than provoke. Jian Wushuang's ability and potential now could match up to that freak. While they were trapped in their worries, Ape Celestial Master's face suddenly lit up. What's wrong? West Paradise Emperor and South Emperor turned to look at him. Good news. Dao Master Gu Ji's junior brother, Master Ku, one of the 18 Masters of Void Temple, is rushing over after hearing about his death. He's scheduled to arrive tomorrow, Ape Celestial Master explained. Master Ku, West Paradise Emperor and South Emperor were both a little startled, but delight soon crept up on their faces. They had all heard of Master Ku, who was one of the 18 Masters of Void Temple like Jian Wushuang's senior brother, Xianxia. Being a Master of Void Temple, he would naturally be strong. Even if he wasn't a top-tier rank 3 Master like Xianxia, his battle strength was still of rank 3. Furthermore, he held a reputation as an expert amongst the rank 3 Dao Masters. It came as no surprise that Master Ku had been famous long before Xianxia. Even God is on our side. Ape Celestial Master laughed. Just as we're worrying if Jian Wushuang as strong as he had been 1,200 ago, Master Ku shows up. Master Ku is a rank 3 Dao Master regardless. He'd be able to force out all of Jian Wushuang's trump cards, and we can then decide if we should advance or retreat. That's a good idea. West Paradise Emperor and South Emperor's eyes lit up in delight. Master Ku has already left. Though he's far from Tang of the East, He'll be able to arrive within 2 days with the power of Void Temple. Let's wait here peacefully for 2 days, Ape Celestial Master said. West Paradise Emperor and Nan Paradise Emperor nodded in agreement. Thus, for the next few days, the 3 big countries and Tang of the East settled down calmly. Tang of the East awaited the response from the 3 big countries while they awaited Master Ku. On a vast and empty land, the border of the green fire world was surrounded by pure and boundless darkness. No one knew what laid behind the darkness, but no one, be it a normal warrior or a Tao master, ever managed to emerge alive from it. Someone wearing a golden robe slowly appeared at the end of the pitch-black darkness. Each step he took seemed to take forever, yet appeared to take him extremely far. Every single step created invisible ripples in the dark void. Even though he had been standing at the end of the darkness, he easily arrived at the border of the green fire world in just several steps. The golden-robed man raised his head, revealing his old visage, as he stood firmly on the ground. It was a white-haired elder who looked benevolent, with a blood-red cinnabar mole in his mid-brows. He looked up at the sky above and took in the familiar air around him with a gentle smile. I'm back. I'm finally returning to my hometown after traveling for so long. The smell of hometown is indeed comforting. He stretched and murmured to himself before mysteriously disappearing. 2 days passed in the blink of an eye. Per Ape Celestial Master's estimation, it took Master Ku only 2 days to arrive in Tang of the East. However, instead of approaching anyone from the 3 big countries, he appeared directly in front of the Imperial Palace. Jian Wushuang, prepare to die. His resounding voice penetrated the formation, ringing loud and clear inside the palace. Many experts from Tang of the East gathered inside the palace. They became extremely energetic and enthusiastic after learning that Jian Wushuang was still alive, a stark change from their previous depressed and lethargic state. They now revered him more than Emperor Shao. The experts from within the royal palace raged after hearing Master Ku's voice. Who is it? Which ridiculous person dare to provoke Master Jian Wushuang? Humph! Even the strongest of the 3 big countries, Ape Celestial Master, dares not speak to Master Jian Wushuang in such a tone. He seeks death. Let's see how Master Jian Wushuang gets rid of this man. Voices of discussion rippled in all corners of the palace. Inside the palace, those waiting for the response of the 3 big countries frowned when they heard Master Ku's voice. This voice doesn't belong to the 3 rulers of the 3 big countries. Who is it? Emperor Shao was confused, but he soon received a report on the challenger outside. Master Ku. Emperor Zhao's face darkened. Master Ku. Jian Wushuang was confused. The only people with the word Master in their titles are the 18 Masters of Void Temple. His senior brother, Xue Lingtian, was Master Bloodsaber of the 18 Masters. Jian Wushuang, we're in trouble now. Emperor Zhao's voice deepened. I just got news that the man provoking you outside is Master Ku of the 18 Masters of Void Temple. Though he's not as strong as your senior brother, Master Bloodsaber, he has an outstanding reputation and respectable skills. He's among the strongest rank 3 Tao Masters. As a member of Void Temple, Master Ku shouldn't be involved in the battle between the 3 big countries and Tang of the East. Neither do I have feuds with him. Why is he here? Jian Wushuang became more confused. You're not entirely unrelated with him. Emperor Shao laughed bitterly. He's the senior brother of the Tao Master Gu Ji that you killed 2 days ago. What? Such a coincidence. Jian Wushuang was shocked. He didn't expect Tao Master Gu Ji would have such a senior brother. I just heard of this myself. I don't know the details. Emperor Shao laughed. You can ask your senior brother about him. Seeing as they're colleagues, they should be familiar with each other. Sounds like a plan. Jian Wushuang nodded. He then took out his message token to pass a message to Xue Lingtian. How's life, senior brother? Jian Wushuang greeted him casually. Xue Lingtian responded after a while. Haha, it's been more than 1,000 years since I heard your voice. I thought you really died in the war of the Imperial Palace until our master told us you're still alive. Xue Lingtian was delighted. Those in the outside world were definitely in the dark, as Emperor Xiao never revealed to the public that Jian Wushuang was still alive. However, as Jian Wushuang's senior brother, Shuelingtian was able to learn the details from Xianyi. He had heaved a sigh of relief when he found out that Jian Wushuang was still alive. "Senior brother, I want to ask you about someone," Jian Wushuang said straightforwardly. "Whom do you want to ask about?" asked Shuelingtian. "Master Ku," replied Jian Wushuang. "Master Ku." Shuelingtian was surprised. "Why do you want to ask about him?" "To be honest, I killed his senior brother 2 days ago, and now he's coming to kill me." Jian Wushuang forced a smile and said, "I see." Shuelingtian lowered his head and then continued in a serious tone. "I've heard about Master Ku's senior brother. His name is Gu Ji Dao Master. He and Master Ku are indeed from the same sect. Their sect was destroyed a long time ago, and they were the only survivors. Both of them were lucky and quickly became Dao Masters after that. However, I heard that they parted on rather bad terms for some unknown reason a long time ago. They haven't talked to each other for years. Given this, only a few people know that they're from the same sect. But despite everything, they're still brothers from the same sect. No wonder he's after you now. You've got to be careful, my brother. This old dude is kind of a weirdo who does whatever he wants. Although he and I are both Void Temple Masters and we've met each other a couple times before, we're in no way close. He's very temperamental. He won't let you off easily because of me, even if he knows that you're my junior brother. And this guy is powerful too. He's especially good at close combat. He's easily the second best of the 18 Masters of the Void Temple. Even I would have a hard time defeating him, so don't let him get close to you." "Good at close combat?" Jian Wushuang frowned and continued, "Thanks for the tip, bro. You're welcome. I'm sure you'll be able to resist him, but be careful." Shuelingtian warned him again. "I will." Jian Wushuang nodded and then disrupted the communication. "Jian Wushuang, what did your brother say?" Emperor Xiao turned to look at Jian Wushuang and asked. The other experts also shifted their gazes toward Jian Wushuang. "It's all right. Let's go to meet this Master Ku." Jian Wushuang replied smilingly. With these words, he hurtled himself out of the imperial palace. The others followed suit. The moment they came out of the formation, Jian Wushuang saw a person standing in the void in front of him. It was a good-looking middle-aged man, but he had silver hair like an elder. What was most noticeable about him was his sharp and piercing eyes. "So this is Master Ku," Jian Wushuang thought, feeling impressed by the man's unique aura. He discovered that the aura of this man was somewhat similar to that of his master Xianyi, except that Xianyi looked more aloof from the world. Even this Master Ku would be blown away by that cool aloofness. "Master Ku." Jian Wushuang bowed, his voice modest. "So you're Jian Wushuang?" Master Ku turned his gaze toward Jian Wushuang. He fixed his eyes on Wushuang as if he could see through the young man. "Gu Ji is my senior brother. He did some shitty things and deserved to die. But he didn't deserve to be killed by you, a boy who's less than 2,000 years old," said Master Ku, somewhat grumpily. "Master Ku, my father-in-law is the Emperor of Tang of the East, and your senior brother Gu Ji Dao Master was assisting the 3 big countries that were trying to destroy Tang of the East. When he came to challenge us, I accepted the challenge and killed him during the duel. This is just part of a battle between us and the 3 big countries. Please forgive my bluntness, Master Ku. You're one of the 18 Void Temple Masters. I don't think it's appropriate for you to get involved in this thing," Jian Wushuang said in a low voice. "Humph. This has nothing to do with the Void Temple. This is something personal. I'm not interested in your battle against some invaders. As you killed my brother, I have to kill you to avenge his death. But since you're much younger than me, I'm not going to be too hard on you. 15 minutes. If you can manage to resist me for 15 minutes, I'll leave you alone and never speak of revenge again." Master Ku snorted and said, "That's interesting," said Jian Wushuang. He could see that Master Ku did not have much feeling for his senior brother. He probably just comes here to fight me because of his duty as a junior brother, and he doesn't care much about whether he can kill me in the end. Otherwise, why did he give me this chance? If he really wants to avenge the death of his brother, He can come at me directly to kill me, thought Jian Wushuang. Deal, 15 minutes. Jian Wushuang laughed a hearty laugh. After you, Master Ku. Jian Wushuang sounded polite, but he was ready for battle. He was much more powerful than before. He had recently broken through to the 3-star ancient god level, and the newly gained blood-killing plate armor had also enhanced his battle strength. He guessed that his current battle strength was nearly as strong as that of a Dao master, but he was not entirely sure of it. He would never know how strong he was unless he fought a battle with his full strength. Now, this Master Ku came along. He happened to be a well-matched opponent for Jian Wushuang. After fighting this Master Ku, Jian Wushuang would be all but to know more about his own strength. Let's get started, Jian Wushuang shouted, excitement flickering within his eyes. Humph! Master Ku snorted in contempt again. He flipped his hands to summon a pair of sabers. 2 sabers. Jian Wushuang was startled. Many experts of the Green Fire world used sabers, such as Jian Wushuang's senior brother Su Lingtian. Nevertheless, very few of them used twin sabers. Prepare to die, Jian Wushuang, Master Ku bellowed as he dashed forward. Swoosh! Master Ku transformed himself into a saber and split the void. In the blink of an eye, he got close to Jian Wushuang and swung his twin sabers at the young man. That was fast. Jian Wushuang was taken aback. Master Ku was indeed fast. He must be one of the strongest rank 3 Dao masters. Not everyone could wield 2 sabers at the same time with such speed and ferocity. Jian Wushuang's face turned red. He quickly summoned his Blood Mountain sword and channeled his ancient god power into his hand and then into the sword. Clang! Clang! The twin sabers and the sword clashed together. Jian Wushuang found it hard to resist the pressure exerted by Master Ku and could not help bending pressed down a lot. This Master Ku is fast and powerful, Jian Wushuang thought with a frown after exchanging a blow with Master Ku. Master Ku looked coldly at Jian Wushuang and launched the second round of attack with all his strength. Wait, this is really the worst situation. Jian Wushuang cringed, as he suddenly thought of something. Shui Lingtian told me that Master Ku's forte is close combat. Even my senior brother finds it hard to resist his offensive ability during a close combat. However, now he's very close to me. Whoosh! 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 Master Ku cast many rays of intense blade light toward Jian Wushuang. Seeing an overwhelming amount of blade light flew toward him at an amazing speed, Jian Wushuang nearly got lost in astonishment. What should I do? He hurriedly brandished his Blood Mountain sword to fend off the blade light. This guy's offensive ability is shockingly strong, Jian Wushuang thought, as he groaned because of physical exhaustion. After passing the Heaven Level test, which was a test of the ancient God clan, Jian Wushuang's offensive ability was significantly improved. Besides, he was also very good at close combat. Nevertheless, Master Ku still outshone him in this aspect. With the help of his blood-killing plate armor, Jian Wushuang now had an offensive power that was nearly as strong as that of Master Ku. Unfortunately, Master Ku had already gotten close to him and suppressed him, giving him no breathing space. Humph! Jian Wushuang grunted suddenly. A murderous look flickered within his eyes. The next moment, 72 rays of light, which were light purple in color, flew out of his interspatial ring. They quickly formed a purple lightsaber in the void beside Jian Wushuang. 9 Heaven Sword Formation. Second formation. Go! Shouted Jian Wushuang. He managed to summon his sword formation while barely resisting Master Ku's attacks. His purple lightsaber swiftly pierced through the void and dashed toward Master Ku. 9 Heaven Sword Formation? Said Master Ku. He recognized the formation instantly, but he just laughed it off. He moved in an incredible way to avoid the lightsaber effortlessly. You avoided it? Nice move, Jian Wushuang said with 36 rays of light around him now. 9 Heaven Sword Formation. First formation. Although the first formation was not as fast and powerful as the second one, Jian Wushuang still decided to use it to launch the second round of attacks. Compared to the second formation which he has just mastered and was unable to control very well, he was more familiar with this first formation. Given this, it would be much easier for him to fight with this formation. The sword formation moved swiftly through the void under the guidance of Jian Wushuang, and in the blink of an eye, it approached Master Ku. That's interesting, said Master Ku. He fixed his eyes upon the sword formation and then slashed it with just one of his sabers. The next moment, the sword formation shattered. In the meantime, Master Ku swung the other saber toward Jian Wushuang. Mind-controlling secret skill, said Jian Wushuang. His eyes suddenly brightened. A magical force came at Master Ku. Master Ku paused for a moment, and then continued to swing his saber toward Jian Wushuang. Obviously, this mind-controlling secret skill had little effect on him. Ancient God Finger. Barrier breaking, Jian Wushuang said through gritted teeth. Realizing that he could never defeat Master Ku in close combat, he intended to force him to retreat. He channeled all his ancient god power into his index finger and launched attack. As heaven and earth shook, a giant golden finger pressed toward Master Ku. Master Ku channeled his power into the saber in his right hand and lifted it up. When it was ready, he swung it toward the finger. The blade light cut the giant golden finger in half, and the ancient god power contained in the finger abruptly spread out, causing an impact which successfully compelled Master Ku to retreat. Now there were several steps away from each other. Jian Wushuang looked at Master Ku, not fully recovered from the shock. The sword formation consisting of 36 one-meter swords was floating beside him. Senior brother is right. Master Ku is indeed good at close combat, Jian Wushuang thought to himself. Master Ku stared back at Jian nonchalantly and said, "You're still at the eternal realm, but you fought pretty well. You're really something. No wonder they say you're one of the exceptional geniuses of this world. Now I see why you were able to kill Gu Ji. Thanks. Now I've seen with my own eyes what an expert you are at close combat." "Humph, the blood saber told you that. Am I right?" Master Ku asked. Jian Wushuang nodded without saying a word. "Blood saber and I never fought each other, but it's not surprising that he knows some of my moves." Ku continued, "After all, both of us are Void Temple Masters. But there's one thing he doesn't know about me." "Yeah." Jian Wushuang frowned. "You've seen my close combat ability, but you haven't seen my trump card." "Your trump card? Get ready for it. If you survive, I'll give up revenge. But if you get killed, you'll have only yourself to blame," Master Ku howled. All the experts of the 3 big countries and the people in the imperial palace heard what he said and turned their head toward him. What was his trump card? Everyone wondered. Master Ku looked aloof. He had 2 sabers, but now he was putting one of them inside his interspatial ring, his eyes getting colder as he did so. Boom! An earth-shaking knife essence arose from Master Ku's body. The next moment, he began to move. Swash! He popped out in front of Jian Wushuang all of a sudden. It was like teleportation. In the meantime, a gorgeous blade light appeared and fascinated all the people. Jian Wushuang's eyes were also drawn to the beautiful light. Beyond his expectation, he was suddenly engulfed by some kind of strange power. It was a consciousness attack. Jian Wushuang thought in amazement. He could do that too. In fact, he had just done that to Master Ku during their fight. However, this consciousness attack was different from an ordinary one. Consciousness attacks and sickle attacks were totally different. Nevertheless, Master Ku's trump card combined the two. The 2 types of attacks were blended together perfectly. Jian Wushuang was stunned, frozen in place, as the consciousness attack already kicked in when he saw the blade light, allowing him no time to react. As such, he could only see the blade light fly toward him at an amazing speed. "Oh, this is bad." Jian Wushuang, Emperor Shao and the gang inside the imperial palace turned pale with fright and shouted, "Is he going to die?" Experts of the 3 big countries were overjoyed to see what was happening to Jian Wushuang. Ape Holy Master, West Paradise Emperor, and South Paradise Emperor were especially happy. Jian Wushuang was unable to fend off the blade light that went straight for him. Clang! There was the sound of metal banging together again, and this time sparks were flying. "Ha!" Master Ku shook violently. "What?" Experts of the 3 big countries were surprised too. Master Ku's saber was very close to Jian Wushuang, and the terrifying blade light was in its prime. Nevertheless, Jian Wushuang's armor still remained unscathed. As such, Jian Wushuang stood there unharmed. Experts of the three big countries were rendered speechless and could not help wondering, how is this even possible? A few days ago, when Jian Wushuang was fighting against Gu Ji Dao Master, Gu Ji failed to pierce through the youth's plate armor. However, this Master Ku is a lot more powerful than Gu Ji. And this is the best move Master Ku gets. The power in it almost reaches the top level of rank 3, and it can be felt miles away. How come it does Jian Wushuang absolutely no harm? Is his plate armor that marvelous? Jian Wushuang was so pleasantly surprised he was shaking a bit. He was screaming in his heart. This is what I've expected. Being an ancient god of the 3-star imperial kinsman gives me an extraordinarily strong body, and with the help of the blood-killing plate armor, only a few top experts of the rank 3 Dao Masters can hurt me. Although Master Ku has great strength, and his last attack was so disturbingly quick even the rank 3 Dao Masters couldn't take it. His power is only close to the top level of rank 3. He couldn't have hurt me. And if he couldn't even hurt me, how could he ever kill me? Thought Jian Wushuang. Master Ku frowned. Obviously he saw this too. This kid is just an expert with the eternal realm. How come his body is that strong? That armor of his is not to be overlooked. My best shot couldn't even hurt him. Ku shook his head and sighed secretly. Master Ku, you've shown me your best move, and it's time I returned the favor. Jian Wushuang's voice brought Master Ku to reality. He looked at Jian Wushuang, his face grim. Jian Wushuang's eyes looked cold. The 3 quadrangular stars between his eyebrows were dazzling as his ancient god power flowed toward his right index finger. Ancient god's second finger. Star-extinguishing finger. Jian Wushuang howled as he launched the attack. Boom! A giant sinkhole appeared in the void and a towering hologram appeared in the center of the hole. It was only a half-body hologram, and it was only about 30 meters tall, but as it pointed a giant finger toward the air, the power it brought freaked everyone out. This was the second finger of the 3 fingers of the ancient god. Jian Wushuang had displayed this great skill in the imperial palace 1,200 years ago with the help of the essence blood from King Luozhen. Now he could manage to use this skill without absorbing any essence blood, since his ancient god power had already reached the 3-star level. The second finger was much more powerful than the first finger. When Master Ku felt the power of the giant finger, he groaned and attacked with his saber. Bang! A loud voice could be heard, as the terrifying power formed a storm that destroyed the void and the ground below, and it was still growing rapidly. Swoosh! A pale Master Ku came out of the storm like a ghost, and there was blood in the corner of his mouth. It appeared that he had not taken Jian Wushuang's attack well. Speaking of Jian Wushuang, he was still in the eye of the storm and he could only be seen after the storm cleared. Jian Wushuang, you won. I'll never speak of revenge again, Master Ku said, realizing that there was nothing he could do. It was true. He had no choice but to let Jian Wushuang go. He was actually more powerful than Jian Wushuang. He could easily defeat the youth at close combat, and there was no way Jian Wushuang could block his best move. Nevertheless, Jian Wushuang was too damn good at defending himself. There was nothing Master Ku could do to harm him. Even if Jian Wushuang stood still and never fought back, Master Ku could not hurt him. Jian Wushuang's out-of-this-world defense meant that he could never be defeated. Thanks for not killing me, Master Ku. Jian Wushuang laughed. Trying to kill you isn't my only reason here today. The Temple Master has a message for you. He wants to know if you'd be interested in joining the Void Temple. Master Ku said out of the blue. Huh? Jian Wushuang was visibly surprised. The Temple Master? The Void Temple? Jian Wushuang had thought that Master Ku was only here for revenge. But now it appeared that he was also a messenger. Jian Wushuang, the Temple Master specifically asked for you specifically, and this almost never happened before. Master Ku continued. So take some time to think about it. I'm sure you know how awesome the Void Temple is. After all, your senior brother is one of us. And if you join too, you'll be a master, and it won't be long before you could be an elder. Jian Wushuang was pleased, but he didn't reply. Like I said, think about it. If you decide to join us, just break this token and the Void Master will know, and he'll send someone to pick you up, Master Ku said, handing the token to Jian Wushuang. Thank you. And please tell your master that I'll think about it, Jian Wushuang replied. Will do. See you around. Master Ku left immediately after he finished. Jian Wushuang watched him walk away, and then he put away the token before he turned his gaze toward the camp of the three big countries. Many experts were there, and the most powerful three were Ape Holy Master, West Paradise Emperor, and Nan Emperor. These experts were now very disappointed. They had expected Master Ku to kill Jian Wushuang or at least force the youth to use his full strength. But it turned out that Master Ku was unable to do any of that. Not even hurting him. Not at all. He could not kill him even when Jian just stood still and did not fight back. We've got company, Ape Holy Master said. And then it happened. Yo, experts of the three big countries. A loud voice reached their camp. It was of course Jian Wushuang's voice. He was in the void outside the royal palace. He crossed his arms and looked at them. Like I said before, you've got to give me an answer within 3 days. It's been 2? Have you thought of an answer? The three experts were obviously annoyed, but they still moved toward Jian Wushuang. They stopped when they were less than 30 meters away from him. Any of the experts could cover that distance in an instant. This kid didn't even flinch. He isn't backing off. Isn't he afraid of us at all? Ape Holy Master murmured with a frown. We've seen his defense ability. Even Master Ku couldn't hurt him. Why should he be afraid of us? West Paradise Emperor replied. Even you will have trouble killing him. Ape Holy Master nodded and thought. Yes, indeed. Although I'm a Holy Master, it'll still be hard for me to kill Jian Wushuang. Correct me if I'm wrong, but aren't you the three bosses of the three big countries? And the Holy Master in the middle is Ape Holy Master, Jian Wushuang said confidently. Jian Wushuang. Ape Holy Master opened his mouth. His voice was dignified. You want an answer? Why should we give one to you? Because of your achievements 1,200 years ago? Ape Holy Master asked, each word more powerful than the previous one. Wasn't that enough? Jian Wushuang smiled. Nope, not even close, Ape Holy Master shouted. Don't try to fool me, you were something 1,200 years ago, but it wasn't all you. You used some special tricks, and I'm guessing it was precisely because of that your body exploded into a blood fog. Those special tricks were hard to use for the first time. It's impossible for you to use them again. So tell me, why should I answer to you? Ape Holy Master was correct. Tang of the East could not stand against the three big countries, and if Jian Wushuang had not used those special tricks years ago, it would have been impossible for him to stop them. Jian Wushuang knew it all. You're right. I can't use those tricks anymore, Jian Wushuang said smilingly. If you still want to destroy our country, so be it, but I have to point out something. He took a deep breath and then said in a sonorous voice, you can continue attacking us, you can continue besieging our royal palace, and you can take away our 36 prefectures. We don't have the power to fight back. But as long as Tao Master Spirit's formation is in place, you can't come in, and you can't kill us all. Our top-level experts can be well protected. And as you begin to attack the royal palace, I'll leave. I'll go away to find ways to improve myself. I'm confident that within 1,000 years I can become a Tao Master, and within 10,000 I could become a Holy Master. And I'll come back for you, and when I do, you'll be the first ones I kill. I swear. I'll hunt you down no matter what, and I'll make the three big countries disappear. Time is all I got. Let's see what happens. Was he threatening them? Yes, he was. Everyone knew that. The three experts were visibly annoyed. If an average Joe with the Eternal Realm were making this threat, they would shrug it off. Nevertheless, it was not an average Joe. It was an exceptional genius of the Green Fire world. No one knew what he was capable of, but Master Ku's invitation sure said a lot. Even the Void Temple Master wanted to recruit him. It would be very easy for him to become a Tao Master, or even a Holy Master. It was also possible that he could become someone like the Void Temple Master and Tao Yuanzi. Most importantly, his battle strength was excellent too. He was just an expert with Eternal Realm, but he managed to resist Master Ku. He would have enough powers to face off against Ape Holy Master when he became a Tao Master. Just like he had said, in 10,000 years, he would be able to come back and annihilate all the experts of the three big countries. Jian Wushuang, are you threatening me? Ape Holy Master was blue with anger. He stared at Jian and continued. You'd have to live another 10,000 years for everything you just said to be true. If I kill you now, none of that will happen. You're right. Jian Wushuang nodded and said, killing me now would stop me from killing you in the future, but I'd bet big money you can't kill me now. Jian Wushuang smiled confidently. Ape Holy Master was getting angrier. Was he willing to bet big money on whether or not he could kill Jian Wushuang right there right then? No, he was not. He even had no idea if he could beat Jian Wushuang at that moment. He dared not to bet on himself killing Jian Wushuang, not only because of the powers that Jian Wushuang had just showed off when fighting Master Ku, but also because of the battle 1,200 years ago. Back then, Jian Wushuang had exploded into a blood fog in the end. Normally people would die when this happened, but after 1,200 years, Jian was still alive and well, and he was even more powerful than before. This was too weird. As such, Ape Holy Master was not sure if he could kill him. What are we going to do? West Paradise Emperor and Nan Paradise Emperor asked. There's nothing we can do. He's threatening us, and I'm not sure if I can kill him. We can't bet the fate of our countries on him not becoming a Tao Master. Ape Holy Master said coldly. He believed that Jian Wushuang could definitely become a Tao Master. You mean we back off? West Paradise Emperor asked. It was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for the three big countries this time. They were just one step away from wiping out Tang of the East. Just one step away. If they stopped now, they probably would never find another opportunity like this. We've got no other choice. Ape Holy Master sighed and said, who'd have thought Tang of the East got such a savior at the last moment? Jian Wushuang. Ape Holy Master turned to look at Jian again. We've decided to retreat. They had no other option but to give up. They were so close. That's not good enough for me. Jian Wushuang shook his head. What else do you want? Ape Holy Master shouted, anger flickering in his eyes. They promised to give up, but Jian was still not satisfied. You're being forced by me to retreat now, but I can't be here forever. Can you promise that you won't come back when I'm gone? Jian said coldly. What? It was getting harder and harder for Ape Holy Master to control his anger. I want you guys to swear you won't come to attack us again for the next 100,000 years. If you say yes, I'll let this go, Jian Wushuang said. You want us to swear? It was hard for the three masters to believe what they had just heard. They were the top guys in the Gree-Fire world, and now they were being forced to make a promise like this. Emperor Shao and the other experts inside the Imperial Palace nodded when they heard Jian Wushuang's words. 10,000 years was not long, but it would be long enough for Tang of the East to get itself together. They would be ready to resist the three big countries when they came back for them after 100,000 years. They believed that the three top-notch experts would not break a promise they made in front of so many witnesses. If Ape Holy Master agreed with what Jian had proposed, it would be great for Tang of the East. Ape Holy Master thought for a while and came to a conclusion. Fine, I promise, Ape Holy Master said coldly. Upon hearing that, Jian Wushuang smiled in satisfaction. The other two masters were not happy about it, but again, they had no other choice. They had to promise Jian Wushuang too. A golden-robed elder watched all this happening in front of him, while hiding himself in the shadows. Interesting, the elder said to himself and then dashed out of the shadows.